commences with the symphony playing, then cuts to a scene where a blogger named Crystal Starr is seen rummaging through old buildings as she imagines what it would be like without all the decay and destruction. In the 1930s, Detroit was the fastest growing city in the world. Now there are over 100,000 abandoned homes and many empty lots. It follows many different individuals, all living within the city and proud to stay and be there. It showcases how through the course of 10 years, Michigan lost over 50% of its manufacturing jobs. Everyone from the local business owner to the Detroit Opera House have felt the sting of such a rampant unemployment rate. The film demonstrates the hardships of Detroit, the impact of major manufacturing, and how it can all affect a city, but with a touch of romanticism and beauty throughout. The rise of gas prices in the 1970s, combined with people's desire for more fuel-efficient vehicles, led to decreased sales, causing car manufacturers to close their doors. They took jobs out of the hands of Detroit residents in search of lower production costs and an increase in the profit margin. Household names like Cadillac and American Axle brought big business to the residents of Detroit. However, now, thousands of workers have lost their jobs, leaving nearly 50% of the population unemployed. This loss has led to a downturn in the population since the 1950 census. Then, the city was at a high of 1.8 million. In 2010, the population was 700,000. Now in a state of high-rate population decline, Detroit has become the fastest shrinking city of the U.S. Residents started moving away from the city. The city lost revenue, which caused more people to move away, and the cycle continued until the city filed for bankruptcy in 2013. 100,000 homes are left abandoned. 10 to 20 houses are being demolished per day. Playgrounds are desolate, and buildings are devoid of people. The lost beauty of the once popular and thriving Motor City has caused leadership to look around and wonder, who would want to stay in a place where they cannot find a job? Who would want to stay in a decaying city? Who wants to sustain a city in such distress? The city's officials discuss mitigation tactics. The focus? Urban farming. Regardless, though, something needs to be done. What can be done? Well, there are two approaches that can be taken to make Detroit a thriving and delightful place to live that will pull people in instead of push them out. Through appreciative inquiry, the focus is on the positives versus the negatives. According to Rothwell, Stavros, and Sullivan, at its heart, appreciative inquiry is about the search for the best in people, their organizations, and their strength-filled, opportunity-rich world around them. Although it has depleted immensely, the population is one of the greatest aspects of the city. People want to stay in their beloved city. They are loyal to the city. They want to invest their time and effort to make the city better. They know their worth, and they are willing to stay and fight for what they believe to be right. This does not mean, of course, that jobs will return immediately on the pushback of workers and residents. Loyalty is an important trait. loyalty of workers and people is something companies seek. Initially, it will not be cheap, but there are companies that understand that in the long run, it might be better to maintain a loyal workforce. The exorbitant amount of land that encompasses the city of Detroit has much potential. It is available and ready for others to use it appropriately. The landscape may not be so beautiful right now, but there is much that can be done if buildings and empty lots are appropriated correctly. However, simply seeing the beauty of things may not be the right course of action for this particular case. Using traditional organization development, you can view the same positive factors as weaknesses that need to be corrected. Lack of jobs, lack of people, and you have an excess in land. How do you fight this? How do you get people back in the city? You provide them with jobs. Well, how do you get more jobs for these people flocking back into the city? You provide avenues for corporations that want to move to the city. But how? You provide them incentives. You give them tax breaks, low lease or purchase prices on lands, or other incentives just to get them to come. This will in turn make the issue of an excessive amount of empty, useless, desolate land correct itself, because now the land's being used. This increase in land usage will increase jobs, which will in turn increase revenue. The key pieces are all in place. They're not being utilized as well as they could be in order to ensure that the massive outflux of people is minimized. However, the major key piece is communication. There are things that city leadership is trying to put in place wholeheartedly, and they believe that it will work, but they are not communicating it well to their constituents. This is causing greater stressors that could be minimized and potentially return the focus back to making the city better. Both interventions allow the city to make a move in the right direction toward a brighter future. Following the appreciative inquiry will be a lot harder to accomplish any sort of change, as it will take longer for organizations to choose to go with a costly yet more loyal workforce. Following traditional organization development will improve the timeline and lay out the issues in a manner that people are more likely to take in and accept. It will be difficult, but no matter which path, the city has the capacity to once again become great.